stolen guns was used to kill a police officer during a robbery.
Then it just buffers. Go back to the video suspect. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go back to it. I think it's buffering. We can just
Okay.
greet the viewers.
Okay, let's greet. We will go back to the video. Good morning, masterminds. Good morning. We are here on Tuesday morning. There's no court proceedings today. Apparently, tomorrow, Gininda must be back in court. And what I know is Gininda's return cross-examination is based on the AVL, is based on the logbooks, is based on all that outstanding information. And my lawyer has not said anything about the arrangements of the inspection in loco. So we don't know what's happening with the inspection in loco, but that is what I know. What is the basis of the of Gininda's cross-examination for starting tomorrow? So masterminds, you know what to do when you come in the house. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and please comment. Yo, it seems like Japs is on an exotic island. Japs, what are you up to? Where are you? Don't tell me. But it seems like you are enjoying. You are even removing your jacket. Spot where you are.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm closer to a particular border.
Don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Yeah.
Everyone can see for themselves.
Yeah.
So you
Yes.
started with a video, but
Yes.
it was buffering. I think it's maybe because of network issues. What is the story behind it?
Yes. No, suspect. I wanted us to do a bit of reflection. We're looking at yesterday's court proceedings, and what we've done so far, we're trying to analyze the evidence with regards to the Senzomewa case. Now, we heard that there was Captain Mjali who came and testified with the SAP 13s and the guns. Now, the clip that I wanted to play on, we'll see whether it will play now. But it was reflecting on the number of guns, SAP 13 guns that were stolen in Norwood Police Station. I'm bringing that thing up because Captain Jali mentioned that when he was leading his evidence, saying the reason why he's documenting everything, that's the reason why because of the incident, it took place around 2021. And that SAP 13 clerk ended up taking his life. But also there was a lot of arrests that was done in that police station. What is important that is that the gun issue is a very crucial evidence in this case. Now, all the crucial evidence in the Senzomewa case, they come with issues. So, with this today's recording suspect, we're gonna touch on a gun. Please make notes so that I don't forget. When speak about the gun, we're gonna speak about Constable Zungu. We're going to speak about the cell phone, and then we're going to speak about guns. The four parts are the four critical elements in this case. And let me tell you one, none of those four things that are core in this case that come clean. All of these evidence or witnesses, they come with question mark. But you studied law. On the criminal matter, it must be, there must not be any doubt. It's 100%.
100%. Let's say let's make it 110% because it must be beyond reason. There must not be any shadow of doubt in every aspect of the case. There must not be any shadow of doubt.
Yes. I remember the pit bull prosecutor used to say that whenever as a prosecutor they're going for 115% or 125%, because there shouldn't be anything. So because the institution, our court, once they made a decision, we should not question it. We should not say, but it could have been something else. Let me look at Captain Mjali. Captain Mjali comes to testify about the gun. He says that he himself in the court cannot account for the full chain of custody of the gun from 2015, February 9, 8 or 9, when Ngobe was arrested, up until the gun was taken by Mangena in July 2020. Do you see that? He cannot account for a full chain of custody for that weapon. Now, the gun is kept in a police station, which is called Cleveland Police Station. Suspect, I'm on record saying that I don't trust Mjali. I am now wanting the defense Omnisi to call back Mjali and ask him whether Mjali, do you know Mboto? You see where we're going, suspect?
Yes. Yes.
Now we're looking at Mjali, is the relationship with Mboto, because Mboto was working in that police station, SAP 13th. And since Mjali doesn't have a full chain of custody, who will have known that Mjali had left and come back? Who will have been? I believe that Mjali was brought back from retirement, from early retirement, even given a promotion. I think because Mjali can be trusted.
He's loyal. He is one of the loyalists. He's loyal.
Yes. Yes. So now, by doing so, suspect, we then saying, therefore, there is always an unknown relationship that existed between Mjali, the Cleveland Police Station, and Mboto and Gininda. And suspect underline, and allegedly now, we've been told by a real mastermind that Brigadier Gininda was friend with the person whom number 3 is accused of unaliving. Yes. Now do you see that now that relating to this case, you see the issue of the gun now, it's murky.
Yes. The dots are connecting, the puzzle are coming together.
Yes, but they're connecting not in solving the Maiwa case. Yeah. They're connecting in exposing the corrupt relationship or the undue relationship or the undeclared relationship. Maybe I must say not corrupt because that is not proven, but I'm saying that an undeclared relationship in court. Because in court, it's only now Gininda is declared that he knows Mboto. But before he said he didn't know Mboto.
But also I want that issue to be exhausted. He knows Mboto. He said he knows Mboto, but we want to know, how does he know him? There's a difference between I know someone and I really know someone. You understand? That issue must be exhausted because we know already they know one another very well. They have worked together before. Mboto was the commander of Gininda. We want that to be on record in court.
Yes. Now, therefore, then when Mangena comes through to Cleveland, it remains very strange because every time when Mangena goes to meet the accused persons, he always says that Gininda is the one that calls me and saying, we've now arrested another person.
Same as in the Creature case. Kininda called me. Mangena are not
What?
going through the proper procedures or been called by the call center. Because remember, on a crime scene, who are the police are being called? You call 10-111. 10-111 must register your call. 10-111 will issue, they call it the IR number. They will issue an IR number for that specific call, and they will call the relevant first responders, the relevant people like your CRC, like the mortuary, whoever, the ambulance, whatever. That call will be made by the call center, and you will trace that call through the IR number. I used to work on the IR number every morning. You must call the call center and say, go and check the reaction time. You check the reaction time. If the reaction time is more than 15 minutes, you call the call center and ask them, why was the reaction time more than 15 minutes? If there's an outstanding IR number of a complaint that has never been addressed yet, there was no reaction, I was the one who called the call centers and queried them on the IR numbers. In 2 cases, the Creature case and the Senzo Miwa case, that process was never followed. Kininda arrived first on the scene. Kininda called all the stakeholders, including to the Creature case. He was the one who called Mangena.
Wow.
Go through that records. I sent it to you a while ago. To the court records of Creature, complaint of Creature. All the names
the transcript. The transcript,
yes. All the information are in there. Kininda is the caller, and he calls specific people. And so when they arrive at the crime scene, he will point out to say, go there, do this, do this, do this. Kininda is the one pointing out, and they will ask they will actually order the accused person to come, point to this, they take pictures, the same that they did with Intense in Sibia. Point to this, while this person is pointing to whatever they showed him to point to, they take pictures, and then they use it in court to say this person did a pointing out.
Now, so therefore, and even when Mangena arrives in Cleveland, he's happy to accept an unsealed exhibit.
In contravention with the SAPS regulations.
And then also, he's happy not to document the exhibit in the lab when it arrives there.
He's also happy to keep that exhibit with him in his personal possession for quite some time. The chain of evidence have broken long ago.
Yeah. So, therefore, the gun issue in relation to the Senzo Miwa case, it's a non-existent. People must just forget about it, basically. I don't care what people are saying, but our law is clear, Suspect. South African law is clear. You cannot try to come up with James Bond a solution. Our law is clear. There is nothing gray in between. So, gun is out because of the questionable characters. Now, Suspect, we come to Zungu.
The cell phone.
We said the cell phones.
I made notes. Okay. It was the gun, the cell phone, yes. And it's going to be Ntanzi and then Zulu.
Yes. So when we look at the cell phone, Suspect, Mushwana, firstly, when Captain Mushwana gives a statement, he's asked by Mshololo, did you go and look at the deleted items? Remember, Mushwana is the one that does the forensic work. Mushwana says, no, we did not go to the forensic items.
The deleted items.
Yes, we didn't do any forensic work for the deleted items. We were asked not to do. Then you ask Nkosi who downloaded the phone of number 3. I think the download actually only takes place around the 27th of February. and the phone is booked out, and then it only comes back around the 3rd of March. Now, also, when they say they only did Masondo, the arresting officer, he says he requested for call records, SMSs, as well as pictures and memory card. Now, suspect, I showed you the picture before. I said it's questionable that the phone that is in question, even that phone actually had the memory card on that.
Where is that memory?
So,
because it's easy.
so that phone, no, that phone suspects. I don't think that it had a memory slot because it says onboard memory basically says 0. So I don't think that it had a capacity to actually take a memory card, that particular phone.
And did you notice yesterday when Sibanda was re-examining Mabasa? Now they mentioned 2 phones.
Yes, introducing another phone. I'm going to get to that. That's why I want to get to that now. Now, they laid an evidence on the phone. Let me tell you, the memory card suspect that they're talking about is a memory card that was confiscated on accused number 3 in jail. It was not found in a phone in 2015. Yes. Because it's very important, guys, that we understand the phone that they're talking about. That phone had limited issues. I said yesterday that phone specific suspect was a stubborn phone. People who've done mobile forensic on such equipment, they will tell you that that GT Samsung phone was a stubborn one. The reason for it, I can tell you for a fact, it was impossible for on that Samsung phone to do what we call the physical extraction because the phone doesn't want to boot up after. So logically, it's what they could handle with. So I can tell you now, suspect, I can bet my life on it. Any cell phone information that has to do with the Senzo Mewa case, it's rubbish. It's rubbish, suspect. It's not a reflection of the capacity and the capability of our SAPS, our South African Police Services. I don't know what these people that Brigadier Gininda is brought in there. It's either they sabotaged him or is part of the process. Because
No,
those people, they've got.
is definitely part of the process because remember, Mabaso kept on saying, according to Brigadier Gininda. He said Mabaso was clear. Mokola brought the phone to him for downloading, but everything was according to Brigadier Gininda because every time he will say it according to Brigadier Gininda. You understand?
You're reminding me of something because you're saying Muhola brought something. But then also on the creature case, Muhola is the one that, yes, Muhola is the one that brought the statement of people. Wow.
The cold case unit is plowed our country into a disaster. This is disastrous because remember the state must close the case and the defense must now come and present their own case. Already they have their own firearm expert. So what they need, because these issues are still going to be presented in court. It's not over. It's not over. The defense must also come and present and dispute everything that the state present in court as evidence.
Yes. So now, with that now, with the cell phones, we had Steyn also lied in court.
Mm-hmm. And then we can say, Steyn, do whatever you want to do. You came to court and something must happen. You must be held accountable. You came to court and lie in court. That's not a secret. You did it.
As well as Host again also came to court and misled the court. Also, we had the The other Nkosi said he only downloaded, he didn't do anything, basically. So that's it. They're not gonna call that Nkosi because Nkosi was clear in what he did. Now you see that now that the cell phone again is rubbish. There's nothing
There's
onto the
nothing.
cell phone.
Now,
Where do we go?
Ntanzi. Yeah, going to
Yes.
Ntanzi.
Ntanzi's relationship or how he was introduced to Mjiyako, it remains a mystery. Do you understand?
Currently,
I must
currently Ntanzi's word against Mjiyako, which I believe for now, because Mjiyako, if Mjiyako was truthful, and he indeed represented Ntanzi, you would have come forward and say Ntanzi is lying. So at this point, Mjiyako is like a witness who doesn't want to be put on the stand because he's afraid he's going to be exposed.
Yes, I can tell you what, the problem with Mjiyako is that he was very close with the state. So there's no way that now, if then he comes through, it's going to destroy his career.
But
that's why
the defense can still subpoena him to court.
Yes, but then that's why now, even the defense, they need to tread very careful because now he's going to, because this thing now, Mjiyako is the center when it comes to Ntanzi's issue. He's the center, it's one of those things that if let's say Mjiyako speaks the truth, of course his career will end as a lawyer, one, but then also will go down with a lot of other his colleagues and everything from SAPS,
but
including Baloyi.
That's exactly what we want. We were not there. We were not part of him, part of them starting this. What we want in this case is the truth. We cannot be here being afraid of people's careers. They did it to themselves. We didn't assist them. We didn't assist them. So I so hope the defense will subpoena Mjiyako as a witness, and whatever he's going to say in the court, if it's true that he did represent Ntanzi Njabs, we said we want the truth. If it's going to come out that indeed I was Ntanzi's lawyer, we can also not protect Ntanzi. We want the truth in this case. That's all we want.
Yeah. Yes. You see, I'm saying that that's the one part. Now, when we look at now Ntanzi coming through, because Ntanzi's confessions remained a center to the thing. I am convinced that Ntanzi was forced to confess, basically. So he's not part of the confession. So I mustn't say that he was forced to confess.
Yes.
I think he was forced to accept what was written.
Yes, he was forced to sign because now we know for sure that there's an affidavit of Absalom Zungu which he never signed. So Ntanzi's affidavit was already ready for him just to sign. That I believe that's what happened.
Yes, and you see that's the part where now when it comes to trial within the trial, that ruling, I believe that Ntanzi was beaten up. I believe that the story, the things that he said about the ATM, we've covered all of these things, the AVL and everything. They've proven his version, that his version is the most probably true one than the state.
Before we proceed, I wanted to know, do you have that video of the trial within the trial in the Krecher case, where that lawyer of Krecher exposed Ininda for torturing and assaulting the suspects to confess? And those confessions were dismissed because the court found that they were indeed, those confessions were taken, they were indeed tortured and beaten up.
Yes. Yeah, no, we'll bring it on next time. Yes, I think I do have it somewhere. So, but it's the same pattern again that we actually seeing. And when people are saying that Ntanzi is crazy, the AVL, Danzi talks about Baragwana and we're there. He talks about engine garage and we're there. He talks about a damaged ATM, we're there. He talks about two pillars of the ESCOM, what into it, and we're there.
We already confirmed everything. We already confirmed everything that Ntanzi said indeed is the truth. So at this point in time, Ntanzi is the one who is speaking the truth. No one else. Not Gininda, not Mjiako, not Mukhola, no one else. At this point in time, Ntanzi is the one who are speaking the truth.
Yeah. Thank you. So then we don't have a confession, because if then now the confession is taken under duress, then there is nothing. So now, of the four things, there's still zero. Everything comes.
Before we proceed, Rada still have to make final determinations on those confessions, because remember he said the confession are being admitted preliminary. Yes, he said the confessions are being admitted preliminary pending new evidence that comes to light.
Yes. Now, so now based on that, I know I've got 10 minutes now. Based on that, that means now we have nothing, because now in supporting Moses' confession as well as Dan's, that's when they must go and visit those inspection in local site. Now, also Ramsipili needs to put, yes, Ramsipili needs to put another application and saying, but if there are no AVL, that means we must go and travel and see all these places.
Even if they travel the whole world from northwest to KZN to wherever,
yes,
then they must travel.
Yes,
they are not using their own money, they are using state money.
Yes. And strange enough, today we heard that they said it's
6.7 million. It was already spent on
that they've spent so far on the case.
And how much did the state spend? Do we have a number for the state spending? Only getting a number for the defense spending. What about the state spending? It's not playing in jobs. I think there's a problem with
I think my network is killing me, so I'm not gonna play it.
So I think there's a problem with the network. Let's go.
Yeah, I think it's the YouTube.
Let's move to Zungu.
Yes, so yes, Zungu is twofold. There's Zungu Senior, then there's Zungu the Constable, and there's also Zungu the Kwabin, basically. Now, Zungu the Constable tells us that he was with the accused person on the day, the 26th of October in Vosloorus. Now, Zungu's statement cannot be true, because the accused person indeed went with Ngamuza's car to Vosloorus, but somewhere else in Katlehong, basically. So he was not there. They could account for that and who they went with. And then also Kwabini. There are voice notes of Kwabini that he was called to come to court, but he turned outside because he didn't agree on the statement that Advocate Baloyi wanted him to sign. Now, but in Kwabini's a confirmation to the person whom I trust that knows Kwabini, this Kwabini says, no, I've never met Constable Zungu in 2014. I've only met Constable Zungu in 2017. You understand? So it means then now there was no gathering at Kwabini's place on 2014. And also Ntanzi says that in 2017, yes, Kwabini is my friend because of the traditional dance. So we were together in 2017.
There was a gathering in 2017.
So then now, Yes. So now, Zungu the constable took 2017 event and then make it as if it's a event that takes place
on that day.
in, yes. That's when Kwabini also says to the person whom I trust. Kwabini says, even I cannot confirm the first shooting incident of Snag. Ne? But I can tell you that incident that Snako, I'm not sure whether they were playing with the firearm, he accidentally shot himself or something like that. He says, but the only first shooting incident that happened with Snako was in 2017.
Wow.
He says, that is when we knew that Zungu the constable took things and then he fabricated them to make them as if he took the scene of 2017. He recreated as if it's something that happened in 2014. So when you look at Zungu the constable, on the clip that I wanted to play as well, he's telling Nisi there it's SAPC footage the 17th of the 13th of September. Runtime for Real Mastermind, if they want to look at that, it's around 35 minutes basically. 13th of September 2023. So there Messi asked Zungu the constable, so once you ran out of alcohol, where then did you go? Zungu says he went and buy alcohol where? At Tops. Now you've confirmed, suspect yourself, that in 2014, bottle stores were not open on Sundays. So definitely Tops was not
especially supermarkets
open on Sunday.
in grocery stores. There were very strict restrictions on supermarkets and grocery stores that had legal licenses. There was no trading on Sundays and all of this.
Yes. So with that suspect, we can easily say that means now it's been 5 years since Ntanzi was incarcerated.
16 June
So
2025, it was exactly 5
years. Yes. So it means that it's been 5 years that Bongani Sandiswa Ntanzi has been illegally and unlawfully incarcerated.
Without being charged, even because his name is nowhere on the system as an accused person in the sense when he was this.
Yes. Due to Constable Zungu lying.
Yeah. Now, Njabs, here's the burning question. Absalom Zungu is the center of Dininda's case. It's Absalom Zungu. Before we can get to confessions, before we can get to Njiako, before we can get to guns, Absalom Zungu is the center of this case. He's holding this case like this. Now with him coming out and saying, no, not in my name. I'm not part of that. I was never part of that. My name is in the courtroom. I want to clear my name. What's going to happen to the case?
So I can tell you for a fact, suspect, that I am talking to Absalom Zongo, and we are engaging to get him to strange enough, the help that I'm saying is gonna get it from the police. Because
repeat. You cut out the start over.
Yes.
Strange enough.
Yes.
Strange enough.
Yes, strange enough, I'm saying that Baba Zungu, the help that we're trying to get him is the help that we're going to get from the police.
From the police.
Yes. Because we trust the police.
There are still good police officers that are communicating with us, that are telling us we are here. We are not part of that Gininda mess. We don't want to be associated with that Gininda mess. We are here to do our job diligently without fear and favor. We will assist Baba Absalom Zungu with that statement and to open a case.
Yeah, so
there are still good judges. There are still good prosecutors. there are still many good police officers. The institution South African Police Service is an institution that we love. What we hate is the corruption that have been committed by individuals. We are here to uplift, to expose, and to cast out the corruption that is happening in our institutions, SAPS, NPA, judiciary, whichever institution, even Home Affairs, whatever. We are here to cast out the corrupt elements that is literally collapsing our country. Because if you collapse the institutions that we trust to uphold the law and to serve, that means you are collapsing the country. Masterminds, we are going to end it here. We will proceed later with a video that we promise about the Crasher case. You know what to do when you come in the house. Please like, please subscribe, please share and comment. Enjoy the sun. Enjoy the sun until you are back in the winter.
We'll definitely do that. Yeah.
Okay.
I need the 50 plus.
Okay, bye, Jabs. We'll see you later then.
All right. Bye.
Bye.